all we'll be talking about is basically what happened today. This has been like the highlight of the week, the battle between Twitter and the Nigerian government. So before now, I think 2 days ago, Buhari made this tweet about his threatened genocide to the southeast. And that tweet got a lot of reports, and Twitter obviously had to have a look at it and concluded that the tweet violated one of their rules, and they took the tweet down. They didn't stop there. They also went ahead to take down the video on the Nigerian Twitter page. That's not Buhari's page, because that video was also the video where he spoke the things that they tweeted. They took that down as well. So that obviously got Buhari and his team, like Mohammed, got them upset, and they've been on it, trying to clap back at Twitter. So today, actually, what they've done is that they announced that they have banned Twitter activities, Twitter operations in Nigeria indefinitely. So that's where we are. One might want to ask, how did we get here? It's such a shame anyway, but that's what has happened. So for now, it doesn't look so clear what that means, banning the Twitter operations, because Buhari is still on Twitter, at least that's at now. The Nigerian government is still on Twitter. Lai Mohammed is still on Twitter. All the governors are still on Twitter. All the ministers that are on Twitter are still there. So Nigerians are still on Twitter. But I believe that probably in the next couple of days, we'll see how this progresses, and we can understand what actually they mean by banning Twitter's operations. The Nigerian government has suspended indefinitely the operations of the microblogging and social networking service, Twitter, in Nigeria. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced the suspension in a statement signed by his special assistant, Shegu Adeyemi, citing the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence. Okay, because they are all still on Twitter. And the most funny part of it actually is that the announcement that they have banned Twitter was made on Twitter. It's such an irony, isn't it? So, but one would say that's Nigeria for you. So, like I said, today we are looking at the ban of Twitter by the Nigerian government. 2 days ago, actually, Buhari had made a tweet that didn't go down well with Nigerians, and then with Twitter as well, because Twitter deleted that tweet, saying that tweet violated their guidelines. So they deleted that tweet, and then also deleted the video that Buhari made saying the things that were on the tweet. So that obviously annoyed Buhari and his Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed. And then they had a press conference on that day saying that the intention of Twitter in Nigeria is suspect, in his words. So today we are told in another press conference that they have suspended or banned Twitter indefinitely. Twitter operations, just to use their right words, that they have banned Twitter operations indefinitely in Nigeria. So I was saying that I personally is still struggling to understand fully, what that means, because the announcement of them banning Twitter, they made it on Twitter. Buhari is still on Twitter. Mohammed, Garba Shehu is still on Twitter. The governors are still on Twitter. Most government officials are still on Twitter. Twitter, as we're still talking, is still working in Nigeria. So the news is that the Nigerian government has suspended indefinitely the operations of the microblogging and social networking service Twitter in Nigeria. Minister of Information and Culture, Mohammed, announced the suspension in a statement signed by his special assistant, Sheikh, citing the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigerians' corporate existence. So this is the main reason they gave for them banning Twitter. And the minister said the federal government has also directed National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, to immediately commence the process of licensing all OTT and social media operations in Nigeria. The development comes after Twitter deleted President Muhammadu Buhari's tweet, where he threatened to treat Nigerians misbehaving in the language they understand. Buhari had, in a tweet on Tuesday, stated that his government will get harder on those hell-bent on destroying the country. He said those wanting to destroy his government will receive the shock of their lives, as his administration will do everything possible to ensure they fail. The president said the sponsors and orchestrators of insecurity in the country are doing so because they want his administration fail. So this is what he said in the tweet, and he also said it on the video, that he's going to go harder on the people who are causing insecurities, and he is also that he's going to surprise them, that they will get the shock of their lives. Oh well, that sounds like good news to me, because we've been waiting on him like forever to speak, and he didn't speak, and we've been waiting on him like forever to take action on the bandits and the terrorists that's been terrorizing not only the northeast, not only the northern part of the country, but also the south. The herdsmen, AK-47 carrying herdsmen who are terrorizing people in their home communities and in the bushes and in the farms. So that is the root of the insecurity in the country. And I'm hoping that with these Buhari's words, that what he means is that he's going to, sort out those Fulani herdsmen. It's been 6 years now. He hasn't done anything about them. The president said the sponsors and orchestrators of insecurity in the country are doing so because they want his administration to fail. So according to him, he thinks that that insecurity in the country, that people are actually doing it deliberately because they want to bring down his government. That's according to him. His tweet had read, "I received daily security reports on the attacks on critical national infrastructure, and it is very clear that those behind them want this administration to fail. Whoever wants the destruction of the system will soon have the shock of their lives. We've given them enough time." I received a briefing today from the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the series of attacks on their facilities nationwide. These attacks are totally unacceptable, and we will not allow those behind them to achieve their evil objectives. So on that, in that tweet, the tweet that caused all this, that is causing this civil war between Twitter and Nigeria, Buhari said that he received briefing on that day, which was on Tuesday, about the destruction of the attack on INEC, especially in the southeast. And according to him, he said that these things are intentional and it's being done by people who want to bring down his government. I received daily security reports on the attacks on critical national infrastructure, and it is very clear that those behind them want this administration to fail. However, wants the whoever wants the destruction of the system will soon have the shock of their lives. We've given them enough time, according to him. I have assured INEC that we will make available to them everything they need to operate efficiently, so that no one will say we don't want to go or that we want a third term. There will be no excuse for failure. We will meet all INEC's demands. So he went on to say that irrespective of the attacks on INEC facilities, that they are going to hold an election, especially in the Southeast, or well, everywhere in the country, they're going to hold an election, and so that people won't have an excuse to say that he's looking for a third term or that he doesn't want to leave the office. And he says in the area of security, we have changed the service chiefs and the inspector general, and we are demanding that they rise fully to the challenges confronting us. There must be zero tolerance for all those bent on destroying our country by promoting crime and insurrections. Many of those misbehaving today are too young. Okay, guys, you need to listen to this last part of the tweet, because this is the main one that's the bone of contention. This tweet that I'm about to read now, that's the tweet that is causing the war between Twitter and the federal government of Nigeria. So the tweet says, many of those misbehaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war would treat them in the language they understand. So at this point, I'm going to also ask you, what do you understand by this tweet? So he says that that many of those misbehaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand. So apparently this tweet, the Civil War was fought between Biafra and Nigeria. And then he says that he was in the field for 30 months, and then that he is going to teach those people, treat them in the language that they understand. And what is that? The language they understand, the language of war, the language of killing, the language of destruction, the language of genocide, because this was all the things that happened during the Civil War. So he said, we are going to treat them in the language they understand. So when this tweet was made, obviously a lot of people read through the lines, and then there was massive complaint to Twitter about this tweet. So Twitter had a look at it and pulled it down and said that it violated their one of their rules, and that rule is directing hate to a particular to a race. So the president's Twitter account was reported by Nigerians who understood the last part of the thread as threats against the indigenous people of Biafra and its military wing, the Eastern Security Network. Many reminded Buhari of the consequences of the Nigerian Civil War, which lasted from 1967 to 1970, stating that such must not repeat. Over 3 million Nigerians, mostly Igbo people, died during the war. Millions of people, especially children, also starved to death. Actually, most people that died in the Biafran Civil War was women and children who died out of starvation because of the food blockade. But that's a story for another day. So for today, let's focus. And the war between the Nigerian government and Twitter. So the war started because of this tweet that I've just read to you. The last part of it, it was a thread, but the last part of it was a particular one that caused the wahala. So Twitter took down this last part of the tweet and also took down the video that contained the speech. and Buhari and Lai Mohammed, they weren't taking it. So they quickly went for a press release on that day, and then made further decisions to ban Twitter indefinitely in the Nigerian space. After that news broke, Nigerians started responding to it, in the typical Nigerian way. And a lot of people were mocking the federal government for, banning Twitter. Even PDP said that the ban on Twitter shows, like, in their own words, the foolishness of this government. So Nigeria's main opposition party says Twitter ban shows level of Buhari government's foolishness. The major opposition party, People's Democratic Party, PDP, has described the federal government's suspension of the microblogging platform Twitter as a demonstration of her foolishness among the community of civilized nations. I mean, at this time, I would believe that Nigeria has bigger fish to fry, There's insecurity everywhere. The problem of Nigeria is not Twitter. It's unfortunate that Twitter deleted his comment, but they are in their right to do it. They are a private business, and they have rules and regulations that you have to follow. If you do not follow their rules and regulations, you get the consequence for it. If you follow the rules and regulations, everything will go on well. It's that simple. It doesn't matter who you are. Nigeria, because you think you're something, then you're above the law. No, you're not. So if Twitter could ban Trump for life, I mean, what are we talking about here? So people should get used to it. In fact, all the name so that Nigerians will be able to learn, that the system works quite differently out there, because we are used to getting stuff on the platter of gold, or especially when you feel like, that you've arrived, Nibu big man or Nibu elite, people who thrive on actually the money that make them elite, money that is meant for you and I, the country. That's what they steal in billions, and then they believe they are now above the law because they have the money. Everybody's bowing down for them, and they think the whole world should bow down for them. No, Twitter has their rules, and you violated that rule, and they deleted your posts. They didn't even kick you out of Twitter, because they could have done that if they wanted, but they did not kick him out of Twitter. All they did was to delete. They didn't even delete the whole thread or the whole post. They deleted just one part of it. That is what is causing all this, as if heaven is gonna fall down, So it's foolishness, because that is what PDP has called it. PDP has gone ahead to say that deleting that tweet has shown how foolish Buhari's government is. I do support them in that, because that is exactly what it indicates. It's pure foolishness. Anyway, the major opposition party, People's Democratic Party, PDP, has described the federal government's suspension of the microblogging platform Twitter as a demonstration of her foolishness among the community of civilized nations. The Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the party, Diron Odeyemi, slammed the Muhammadu Buhari-led presidency for what it called its lawlessness and inability to abide by the rules governing operations of the Twitter community. Exactly what I said now. Twitter, one, is a private business. It's just like when Twitter banned Trump, a lot of Trump supporters were saying that free speech. There's a line between free speech and adhering to law. It just like example now. You have a business, for example, and you say, oh, you have a restaurant where you sell stuff, and you say you cannot bring drinks from outside to drink in my restaurant. Okay, fair enough. I come to your restaurant and I bring drink from outside to drink, and you kick me out and you say no. And you had written it boldly there to say drinks from outside are not allowed. And then I come in with drink from outside thinking, oh, you're going to allow me because my name is Nkechi. And then you're like, no, it's either you drop the drink or you leave. And I refuse to drop the drink. What will you do? You'll kick me out. So it's your business, it's your rule. If I want to stay there, I need to abide by it. So that's exactly what it is. The Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the party, Diron Odoyemi, slammed the Muhammadu Buhari-led presidency for what it called its lawlessness and inability to abide by the rules governing operations of Twitter community. And now so we go just they show ourselves everywhere. Do they not even realize that, you know, that this is just them showing the world this is how we run the country called Nigeria? Because it's now obvious for everybody to see that the government is lawless. A government that will not abide by rules and regulations, how will it expect its own citizens to abide by rules and regulations? Because they're used to, in Nigeria, they would, you know, stopping people from talking, or nobody can take action against them. They do what they like and they get away with it. If you talk, EFCC will come against you, or DSS will come against you, or you get murdered, or something will happen to you. You know, so they are so used to that lifestyle, and they think that it will apply everywhere else. Oh, because his Buhari, Twitter shouldn't have deleted his tweet. So while making a comment on the suspension of Twitter, Odeyemi said the presidency has portrayed Nigeria as if it is a nation of illiterates who cannot accept decency in their engagement with the rest of the world. And exactly, you know, that is just what it is. Because the world will be, because even before now, the world is seeing Africa as, in fact, some of them thinks that we still sleep on trees, you know. People ask you, where are you from? Are you from Africa? And then you say yes. They say, oh, do you still sleep on top of the trees? So some of them still think that we have monkeys and chimpanzees as our neighbors. It's like where you go and there's a bunch of illiterate people who live in poverty. That's sort of pictures that they have. And then when things like that start happening, it just endorses it, and they're like, oh yeah, oh well, it's only monkeys that can behave like this. So that's what this Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP was saying, that what Buhari and his presidency team has ended up in doing is portraying us, you know, as foolish people to the international world. The presidency has portrayed Nigeria as if it is a nation of illiterates who cannot accept decency in their engagement with the rest of the world. One wonders the kind of advisors President Buhari is working with. How can you ban means of public communications and engagement simply because they asked you to respect rules of decency in your utterances? The government should know that Nigerians are not foolish. With what they have done, nobody should be shocked at what they will do next. That is the thing. Because it's not just about them banning Twitter, you know, it's about the fallout of it, or the things that they are capable of doing as a government. And then you begin to wonder, is this not a democratic government? You know, what we have is supposed to be a democratic government. This is the height of foolishness. What has suspending or banning Twitter got to do with the cluelessness of the government? Do they think banning it will close the eyes of Nigerians and the international community to their failure to doing the right things? He asked. The PDP scribe urged Nigerians, those bold enough to speak, to power, whatever. So that's it really. PDP condemned what Buhari and his team has done, and they said that what they did is an act of foolishness. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced the suspension in a statement signed by his special assistant, Shigu Adeyemi, citing the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence. The minister said the federal government had also directed the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, to immediately commence the process of licensing all OTT and social media operations in Nigeria. The development comes after Twitter deleted President Muhammadu Buhari's tweet, where he threatened to treat Nigerians misbehaving in the language that they understand. So that's it about what PDP has to say regarding Nigeria, the federal government banning Twitter. As far as PDP is concerned, they say that it's an act of foolishness, and that what Buhari, and that what Buhari and his team have succeeded in doing is to portray Nigerians as illiterate to the world. So apart from the reaction from PDP, even Nigerians reacted as well. And most Nigerians were kind of making caricature of the whole thing, because how can you say you're banning Twitter and you're making the announcement on Twitter? Oh God, these people, man. So Nigerians on social media have lambasted the federal government for announcing the suspension of the operations of the microblogging and social networking service, Twitter, in Nigeria. On Friday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced the suspension in a statement signed by his special assistant, Shigu Adeyemi, citing the persistent use of the platform for the activities that are capable of undermining Nigerians' corporate existence. The minister said the federal government has also directed the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, to immediately commence the process of licensing all OTT and social media operations in Nigeria. So does that mean that they were not licensed by now? So they were just free for all? Huh? So were they operating free of charge if they were not licensed? The development comes after Twitter deleted President Muhammadu Buhari's tweet, where he threatened to treat Nigerians misbehaving in the language they understand. Buhari had, in a tweet on Tuesday, stated that the government would get harder on those hell-bent on destroying the country. The microblogging platform also yanked off a video which showed President Muhammadu Buhari threatening to deal with youth in the youth of the Southeast. The video, according to Twitter, might have violated rules, or maybe in response to a valid and properly scoped request from an authorized entity in a given country. Meanwhile, the federal government's announcement of the indefinite suspension has attracted the outrage of Nigerians who viewed the suspension as contrary to freedom of expression. Exactly, that is what it is. In fact, where am I even going? I was going to say that but that would be silly of me saying that, because it's quite obvious that instead of making progress, we are going backwards. But why would we not, when we have a president who still lives in 1967? He doesn't realize that 2021 now, 1967. Honestly, why would you, what does banning Twitter have to do with anything? Is that going to fix the problems of Nigeria? Instead of finding a way to fix the insecurities and the problems of Nigeria, if Nigeria was good, then if things were going well, people would not be undermining his government according to him, and then he wouldn't have made that tweet, and Twitter wouldn't have deleted the tweet. Huh? Who doesn't like a good thing? If Nigeria was working, nobody will be complaining. People will be happy, living a good life, and being patriotic to the country. But how can you be patriotic to a country that hasn't offered you anything other than death, killing, hunger, joblessness, suffering? Just a tiny few, they keep looting. Every day in Ghana, what you'll be hearing is that, 100 billion naira missing that place, 87 billion naira missing in the, oh God, don't get me started. Meanwhile, the federal government's announcement of an indefinite suspension has attracted the outrage of Nigerians who viewed the suspension as contrary to freedom of expression. Many questioned why the Nigerian government would take away such a vital platform from Nigerian youths who make business transactions thereon. Others have condemned the hypocrisy of the Nigerian government and the announcement, as the announcement was made via the same platform that was supposedly suspended. Exactly, that's what I was saying. Because they made the announcement that they have banned Twitter. On Twitter, I don't understand it. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? Or maybe are they trying to rub it in or to tell Twitter in your face, we have banned you, but we're going to make the announcement on your platform. What will you do? Oh, good. So somebody made a tweet about it and said, federal government suspends Twitter operations in Nigeria. We know how this country works. Everything is done to favor Dangote. Next thing you will see is a social media app with the name Danguita. Oh my God, I didn't see this before. I'm going to take this again. This is so funny, guys. So somebody made a tweet and said, federal government suspends Twitter operations in Nigeria. We know how this country works. Everything is done in favor to favor Dangote. Next thing you will see is a social media app that's app with the name Danguita. So Danguita, he spelled it as Dangwiter. So that's how he spelled it. Oh God, people are brutal. Trust me. So this guy reacted to the news about banning Twitter to say that the federal government now, that what they're trying to do, they're going to let Dangote float his own app, and then he has already given it a name and he called it Danguita. Well, we'll wait and see. Obviously, Dangote is enjoying monopoly in so many things in Nigeria, so I wouldn't doubt if somebody says that. Someone else also said, breaking, federal government suspends Twitter from operating in Nigeria because they deleted Buhari's tweet. This was the reason why Twitter moved its headquarters to Ghana. The madman in Aso Rock only knows how to destroy, not build. So you may already know that Twitter chose Ghana over Nigeria on where to establish their African headquarters. I think this was a few months ago. It made rounds, made the news. And I bet now Twitter will be like, oh, well, we saw the future. Imagine if Twitter had their headquarters in Nigeria and this thing happened, Nigeria is like a gift that keeps giving. You feel like, oh, I've seen everything, and then something else happens and you're like, oh, I thought I had seen the worst of it. And this girl called Mary said, breaking, federal government suspends Twitter's operation in Nigeria. Twitter has never been in hindrance to Twitter has never been and hindrance to incompetency. That is it. Like I said, what does banning Twitter have to do with anything? And for crying out loud, that you've banned Twitter, is that going to solve the problems in Nigeria? Is that going to solve the insecurities in Nigeria? What actions have you taken? Look at how swiftly that they went to ban Twitter. But look at how many years that people have been crying out about the Fulani herdsmen and their destructions. Look at how every day you hear 100 killed here, to the 1 million. I'm exaggerating, guys. You hear 100 people killed there, 50 people killed there, 200 students kidnapped. You know, it's all over the country, from the northeast down to the south. Huh? And I've never ever seen them act so swiftly, except Mohe Basarandi Igbo. I believe it's to send the military men to Igbo land. That one, you know, that would be. But I've never seen any swift action being taken on anything else that will progress that country. But look at how quick Hajiwe decided, yeah. Something made just in 2 days, that they've already decided, they've already taken action, they've banned Twitter. Another lady said, federal government suspends Twitter in Nigeria and Buhari hasn't deleted his handle. Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. He is still on Twitter. Garba Shehu is still on Twitter. The Nigerian government account is still on Twitter. So how? I don't get it. You've banned Twitter. The first thing you will do is to go delete all your Twitter accounts. Yeah, Henry, thank you. Yeah. So all you would have done is quickly delete your accounts, you know, off Twitter, before even making the announcement. But they are still on Twitter. Anyway, this girl says federal government suspends Twitter in Nigeria and Buhari hasn't deleted his handle. In fact, the announcement was made on the same Twitter. There's level to the comic that comes out of Aso Rock. Ruben Abati, I hope that's Abati or Abati, didn't lie about the water they drink in the villa. And then someone else says his name is Frustrated Nigerian. Federal government suspends Twitter operating in Nigeria, yet I can still operate Twitter without VPN. Nigerian comedy series, UAR. I hope you know what UAR is. That's United African Republic. That's the name some people were suggesting for, so they can change Nigeria name. I think this was like 2 days ago. They wanted, those people were, this group that wanted, that were suggesting for Nigeria to be changed to United African Republic. Oh, well. So this guy says, UAR, I mean, everyone that load VPNs just in case. Buhari, you don't try. Let's not forget 6.98 charges on USSD. What a joke. It's definitely a joke, honestly. Nigeria is such a comedy, you know, that presidency. And this person, Frankie Berry, says, federal government suspends Twitter, yet they pass the information on Twitter. I'm seriously now doubting Nigeria educational system of 1960s. Amanda has this to say, so federal government suspends Twitter in Nigeria. Do they know how much Nigerians make on social media? The little way people are using to help their lives. Another angel. Is this an angel? I think she meant angle. Another angle. Is this our right? What is wrong with these evil men? Breaking news, federal government suspends Twitter operations in Nigeria. Look at a clueless dictator who knows nothing and doesn't want to know. Shame on a clueless dictator. Nigeria will surely outlive you. Oh, well. And Siri says, federal government suspends Twitter in Nigeria. Announcement was made on Twitter. This same Twitter has been the president's sole means of communication. Exactly. This is a president that we never, ever hear anything from. He doesn't come out. He doesn't say nothing. He only travels. We only see him on top of the plane waving goodbye. You know, the only place that some of us hear from him is on Twitter because he's not on news. He doesn't say nothing, but he tweets. So you read on Twitter. And then that's the only means of communication he's had for months now. And they are banning it. The same Twitter has been the president's sole means of communication. How will he talk to Nigerians since he's not a fan of live broadcasts? And Shola says, federal government suspends Twitter in Nigeria. Now I see why Jack chose to place the headquarters in Ghana instead of Nigeria, a country where the leaders don't practice democracy. Jack successfully dodged the bullet. I think he did. He actually did. Imagine if they had their African headquarters in Nigeria and they had just set this up a few months ago and this thing happened. I'm just imagining what other actions, that the presidency and the Minister of Information would have taken against them. And they would have actually incited people to go burn down the building, if I know Nigeria and how it works. Darlington says the federal government bans Twitter indefinitely in Nigeria. Facebook is next. They are also working on a social media licensing process, meaning even the use of VPN will be tough. In Nigeria, the last strand of free speech is about to be taken away. Oh, well. So these are some of the reactions of people about this incident, and I would like to know what your own reaction is. What do you think? Do you think that the government was right, in what they've done in banning Twitter? And do you think that this is also a way of taking away your rights, or you're taking away free speech from people? And even if you're on the other side of the argument, if you think they are right, by banning Twitter, I would love to hear that. And I would also like to hear why you think so. This person said, Ayo Paya Dobanjo. Oh, it's Paya Dobanjo, actually. He says, I insist Buhari is the reason behind our disunity in Nigeria. Why ban Twitter? So as of now, everybody seems to be, oh dear, everybody seems to be saying the same thing. And if you have a contrary opinion to this, I would definitely love to hear it and to hear why you think it's right for them to have banned Twitter. And if you think that Twitter shouldn't have deleted his message, his tweet, I would also like to hear that. And news that is breaking just now, and is related to what we are talking about, is that Buhari had suffered another setback because Facebook has deleted his messages. Oh dear, his post. So this is happening just now, breaking now. Facebook, so it's not only Twitter, Facebook has also deleted Buhari's posts. So it looks like we're going to have Facebook banned as well. So what are we going to do when we don't have Facebook and we don't have Twitter? Oh my God. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will be able to survive without Twitter because it's not, most people tend to be more active on Facebook and probably Instagram. So, and then, hang on. Facebook owns Instagram. So if the Nigerian government bans Facebook, I believe that would automatically affect Instagram and probably WhatsApp, because Facebook also owns WhatsApp. Wahala deo. Wahala not the finish. Honestly, Nigeria is such a theater. So let's see what has happened and why has Facebook banned Buhari's message. The federal government may have ignited a social media war, obviously. It may not be able to win. With the suspension of Twitter for deleting President Buhari's tweet for what Twitter considered as offensive. Shortly after announcing Twitter operation in Nigeria, Facebook joined Twitter in banning President Buhari's Civil War controversial message on its platform, saying that it violates its standards and capable of inciting violence. So, Facebook has also today deleted that post, and they are also referencing the same thing, which is that it is capable of inciting violence, and which is true. It's so obvious. How they don't understand it beats me. I don't get it. With this action, President Buhari's entire message had been removed from Facebook, following the ban on Twitter on Friday by the federal government. In line with our global policies, we have removed a post from President Buhari's Facebook page for violating our community standards against inciting violence. We remove any content from individual or organization that violates our policies on Facebook, Facebook says. Recall that President Buhari had made a post against the southeast region of Nigeria via his official Facebook page early in the week when INEC management, led by its chairman, submitted a report on attacks on its facilities. So actually what has happened is that this evening, after the announcement by the federal government that they have banned Twitter operations in Nigeria, Facebook has also deleted that same controversial post. So that means that, that goes a long way to prove that Twitter was right in what they did. It's not like I was doubting it anyway, because it violated their rules. And Facebook has also said that that same message violated their own rules because that message is capable of inciting violence. So guys, you heard this first here. This is breaking news. Your president has suffered another setback. So it's not only Twitter that deleted this message. Facebook has joined suit. So there's apparently a social media war going on right now. So I am so waiting to hear how they are going to react to this one. Because obviously that deleting of posts, that one choked them well, you know. So I want to see how, because this one now is like is adding insult to injury or pouring salt to whatever. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. This one now is like adding insults to injury, isn't it? So they are not only worrying about what has happened in Twitter, they are now also worried about, they also have to worry about what has happened in YouTube, on Facebook. So I'm so looking forward to what Mohammed is going to lie about tomorrow, or what he's going to say about this incident, because they accuse them Twitter is using their platform to promote stuff that is against Nigeria's unity. So let me hear what they are going to say about Facebook now that Facebook has also done the same thing. So guys, I would love to hear what you think. Do you think that this action by the federal government is against free speech, you know, and against citizens? Actually, there's an organization that has said that Buhari should get ready to meet them in court. It's an organization. I think their acronym is SERAP. So they have said that they're going to sue the federal government for banning Twitter. So SERAP means Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. They vowed to sue the Nigerian federal government for suspending a microblogging site Twitter indefinitely. Buhari had, in a series of tweets, said many of those blah, blah, blah. I think we've said this like for upteenth time, so I'm going to just skip that. In its reaction, the microblogging site deleted Buhari's tweet, noting that it violated the Twitter rules. Miffed with Twitter's action, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Mohammed, accused Twitter of double standard, wondering why the social media giant has conveniently ignored alleged inciting tweets by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Obviously, I know it will come down to this. IPOB, nnamdi Kanu, and his cohorts. He described Twitter's mission in Nigeria as suspect. So this was Lai Mohammed a few days ago, when he called a press conference after the deletion of the tweets by Twitter. So he was saying that Twitter is being partial because it hasn't deleted tweets from nnamdi Kanu, which according to him are also hate speech or something like that. So, however, descending on Twitter on Friday, federal government suspended the operations of and the activities of the microblogging site. The federal government has suspended indefinitely the operations of the microblogging site, blah, blah, blah. We've seen all this. I'm just more interested in what Serap said. So I'll try to get to that quickly. Okay, cool. I think I'm there now. So, irked by federal government's decision, Serap via Twitter promised to sue Nigeria federal government for suspending Twitter. Breaking, they say we are suing Nigerian authorities over their illegal, indefinite suspension of Twitter in Nigeria. So that's it. They think that it's illegal and that they shouldn't have done that. So, like I said, what do you think? Obviously, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but the general consensus is that Buhari's tweet was not good, and Twitter had the right to delete it because it violated their rules. So now, federal government, actually, Lai Mohammed, in his words, said, "We have defeated Twitter." I think that was what he said. And I was wondering, was there a war between you and Twitter? Why would they use that word to say we have defeated Twitter? It's as if Twitter cares. Twitter will move on, even if Nigerians are not on Twitter. But like I said, thank goodness, or lucky for Twitter, they did not, they made that choice earlier in the year to have their African headquarters in Ghana instead of in Nigeria, because imagine what would have been the case if they have that headquarters in Nigeria with this new development. And then Reno Mokri also said that the suspension of the activities of Twitter in Nigeria by the Buhari's administration should be ignored by Jack. So he's telling Jack is the owner of Twitter, or the MD of Twitter, CEO of Twitter, whatever, that he's telling Jack to ignore that suspension by Buhari. And he goes ahead to say that the Buhari government has no means to effect the suspension, and even members of the administration are still on Twitter. So let me know what you think. They're trying to take away our freedom of speech. And now that YouTube, Facebook, I don't know why I keep calling YouTube, and now that Facebook has also done the same thing, I'm now worried, because if their reaction to Twitter was to ban Twitter, okay, what is going to be their reaction to Facebook? Are they going to ban Facebook as well? And imagine a world without Facebook, like seriously, oh my goodness. Imagine like you waking up and you cannot sign into Facebook. Not just like once, but like for a lifetime, as long as you live in Nigeria. Oh my God, I don't know how many people that can survive that. And former Vice President Atiku Abubakar also reacted to the federal government suspension of Twitter. A former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, has reacted to the suspension of social networking site Twitter by the federal government. Let's hear what he said. Yeah, he said, hopefully this isn't my last tweet. And then he smiled, and then he put hashtag smile. So what's funny about it anyway, coming from Atiku? But I hear he lives in Dubai, so he will be able to be tweeting, because obviously he won't be tweeting from Nigeria if actually he lives in Dubai. He stays in Dubai. I don't know. I have no idea if that's true or not. But his tweet says, hopefully this isn't my last tweet. Smile. Okay. The smile part of it is what I don't understand. What is funny? Is it meant to be funny to him, or is it that smile is obviously it's a sarcasm, But why? I don't understand. Okay, I'm not gonna worry my pretty head about that. Okay, guys. So that's it. I'm sure you've got a lot of information, even those that you didn't ask for on this. But the developing story here is that Facebook has also taken actions. Facebook has also deleted that controversial post by Buhari. So this happened this evening. We haven't got any reaction from the federal government yet, but like I said, I'm very interested in seeing, in finding out how they are going to react to this. So we'll see. We'll see how they're going to react to it. Press release. Okay. We're gonna see how they will react to this, because the Twitter that one touched them well, you know. So who knows? Probably they're not gonna have a fit like they did with the Twitter, because now they already know, you know, because the Twitter one was so unexpected. It's never happened to them before, and they apparently didn't believe it was going to happen, because in Nigeria we have the untouchables. There are people who think, is WhatsApp included in the ban? And somebody is asking if WhatsApp is included in the ban. No, not at the moment. The only ban for now is Twitter, but that ban was before Facebook deleted Buhari's post. So Facebook deleted Buhari's post this evening after Nigeria government had banned Twitter. So for now, the Nigerian government is yet to respond to the actions of Facebook. So we don't know what's going to happen from here. But I was saying earlier that if they are to take the same action that they had taken with Twitter, then we will all be expecting that they are going to ban Facebook. If they ban Facebook, Facebook owns Instagram, and Facebook also owns WhatsApp. So, but it will be interesting to find out how all these will play out, because if WhatsApp and Instagram belongs to Facebook, you know. So if the federal government of Nigeria bans Facebook, will it affect WhatsApp, and will it affect Instagram? We'll find out. So we might end up in having a social media blackout in Nigeria. It's so unfortunate that in 2021 we'll be talking about things like this, you know, because for me, I take it as taking away our freedom of speech. That's exactly what it is. And these are like platforms that people actually use. I mean, who even watches conventional television anymore? It's just like saying that you ban YouTube, for example. People don't even watch television. Well, I don't know about others like me. I don't watch conventional televisions anymore. I don't know what my life would be if somebody takes away Facebook and takes away Twitter, takes away YouTube and takes away Instagram. I don't really care. But if somebody takes away Twitter from my life and takes away Facebook and then takes away YouTube, oh God, I might just commit suicide like in a few days. Honestly, I'm not even joking, because I don't know how I'm gonna live with that. So, but like I said, you can only wait to find out. For now, it's all speculations, just at the moment, especially with the new development to the story, which is Facebook being. Facebook has also taken the same actions that Twitter took. So we'll find out probably by tomorrow, I'm sure. We're going to start having reactions from the federal government of Nigeria, and then we'll be able to see how this is going to develop. But for now, it's only Twitter that's been banned. But that ban is not clear. It's not so clear yet, because Twitter is still working. People can still access it. And even Buhari is still on Twitter. And the Nigerian government account is still on Twitter. And almost every Nigerian, you know, that is on Twitter is still on Twitter as we're talking now. But obviously, probably some of these things take time or take days. So we'll see how it unfolds. Okay, guys, so that's me done. And I really thank you for joining me today. And I hope to be back here anytime soon. So, good night. Hi, all. It's been amazing.
Getty First is here for you again to tell you all you need to know. Getty First, home for all. Win diva. Getty First, home for all. Win diva. All you need to do is just to follow. Get motivated and educated. In Diva, Getty First is here for you. Against all odds, we are pushing higher, higher. We are moving higher, higher. We are crossing boundaries, boundaries. In Diva, oh, oh.